Oh my god, this is backwards.
Yeah, I thought you was done.
Okay, just like now I'm gonna try to do this. Bermuda, a beautiful, tiny, remote island in the Atlantic Ocean that most people don't even know exists. The Bermuda Triangle, on the other hand, is extremely well known for not such pleasant reasons. An alarming number of boats and planes have gone missing in its over 270,000 square mile region in the past century. Now, the Bermuda Triangle is something that has always interested me, and after researching it, I've been left even more curious than I was before. The Devil's Triangle, which is another name for the Bermuda Triangle, is an area in the Atlantic Ocean between Bermuda. It's an area between Bermuda, Miami, and Puerto Rico. And in the mid-1900s, it was mentioned in many magazine articles, which is where it started gaining attention. And Benjamin Radford mentions in his 2012 article from Live Science that Charles Berlitz wrote a 1974 novel called The Bermuda Triangle, where it was the first time that accusations were made that the Bermuda Triangle had connections to Atlantis, and this is arguably when it hit its peak popularity. So now let's talk about some of the facts. So, according to the article Beneath the Bermuda Triangle, published in 2004 by Megan Summers, the Bermuda Triangle is not actually recognized as a geographical area of hazard, and there's many articles to back this up, stating that there's no actual statistical proof to show that there are any more casualties in this area than anywhere else in this Earth's oceans. One of these mishaps that stands out the most, though, is the Flight 19 disappearance of 1945. Daniel Loxton mentions in his 2003 article, The Bermuda Triangle, that this double tragedy made the story irresistible because not only did 5 Navy bombers disappear that day, but so did one of their rescue planes. And what happened was there was one leader pilot and 4 trainee pilots, and obviously the trainees were following the leader. The leader's compass broke, and they were lost. He thought that they were in the Gulf of Mexico, when in reality they were on the east side of Florida Peninsula. And so thinking that he was in the Gulf, he headed east, trying to get back to mainland. But when he actually headed east, he started heading towards the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And eventually they ran out of gas and lost communication. And once communication was lost, they sent the planes from land back out to find them, but they never found what they were looking for. And one of the planes actually blew up like in the middle of the sky for unknown reasons, and so that still stands as a mystery today. Something else that I found interesting was from a James Rogers article from Fox News this past year, where he states that a third of the mishaps that occur in the area is from privately owned boats. And from this third, 82% of them are from people that have no training or experience with boats. So this leads towards the argument that there isn't a lot of mystery with the area itself, more that it's just stupid people not knowing what they're doing in this area. But my personal favorite of all of the explanations has to be the scientific ones, and there's 3 I plan to share with you all today. The first one being rogue waves. So rogue waves are ocean waves that can be as high as 100 feet that only last a few minutes. According to ProQuest article, Bermuda Triangle Mystery Solved from this past year as well. And these rogue waves can break ships in halves or even swallow them whole. But this doesn't really explain what happens to the ships, obviously, as it's the water, so this can't really be a total valid explanation. The second of these scientific explanations I have is the diffraction of heat waves, which is convection currents in the ocean. And from a scholarly journal called The Bermuda Triangle, an explanation based on the diffraction of heat waves from 1995, it states that meteorologists discovered a series of global heat waves that systematically drift eastwards along the Earth's surface. And this seems to have little correlation with the Bermuda Triangle until you think about what diffraction actually is, which is when these are like wavelengths, and when this small slit right here, it causes them to create this kind of pattern. And this small slit is comparable to like this area right here, between the Rocky Mountains in Mexico and the Andes Mountains in Colombia. And so these heat waves that are going this way, they come out in this area, in this sort of pattern, and this causes the waves to actually push a lot of debris farther into the Atlantic Ocean out here, which can explain why we don't find a lot of evidence from casualties here. And it also affects some radio wavelengths because they have similar frequencies, and so this can explain why we lose a lot of communication with people in this area. But again, this doesn't really explain the actual accidents themselves, just why we can't find the aftermath or why we can't communicate with them. The next and the last of these scientific explanations is methane gas ice crystals. And according to a 2005 article, ocean floor gas hydrates may solve energy and Bermuda Triangle riddles by advanced materials and processes. This states that methane gas is a potentially enormous energy source that contains more carbon than all conventional fossil fuels, which means when this methane gas is released into the water up here, it causes the density of the ocean to drop drastically, causing ships to sink, which obviously can explain a lot of the boat mishaps. But what about the planes? Well, this methane gas up here, once it reaches the surface, it actually can affect the air, like creating a methane mixture in the air that can cause things to explode in seconds, like planes. But little has actually been known. These are all kind of not theories, but it makes sense. They know this about methane gas, so this is a valid argument. But no research is really done because the methane gas resides in this ice down here at the bottom of the ocean, and whenever researchers try to bring it up, it melts. So there's no real work done on it to see. And it's also been recorded that this ice is all over the earth, ocean floor. So it's not really arguable to state that it's just the Bermuda Triangle affected by this. Now, I would like to give some honorable mentions to the conspiracy theories of the Bermuda Triangle. Now, this can include Atlantis, aliens, and time warp, but like I've stated, these are all conspiracy theories, so there's no real proof to show that they're real in general or have anything to do with the Bermuda Triangle. Now, let me ask you all a question. When is something really considered to disappear? Does it take a boat being 10 minutes late, 2 months late, a year late, or also think about when something washes up on the Miami shore, is it a casual accident or is it more of a mystical disappearance? And I think no matter the theories that are created, it's always going to be a mystery to mankind, but I do believe it's a weird place and that spooky stuff goes on there, but I do also think that it was kind of created to just make people wonder and that we'll never really know what's going on there. So, thank you.